Everyone. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 15. इत्यादिष्टा स्वगुरुना भगवान् नीललोहितः सत्त्वाकृति स्वभावेन ससर्जात्मा समः प्रजः.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Translation: The most powerful Rudra, whose bodily color was blue, mixed with red, created many offspring exactly resembling him in features, strength, and furious nature.
Text 16. रुद्रसृष्टानां समन्ताद्ग्रसतं जगत् निशम्याक्षङ्ख्यसो यूथान् प्रजाप्तिरसङ्कट.
The sons and grandsons generated by Rudra were unlimited in number, and when they assembled together, they attempted to devour the entire universe. When Brahma, the father of the living entities, saw this, he became afraid of the situation.
Text 17. अलं प्रजाभिसृष्टाभिरीदृशीभिः सुरोत्तमा मया सह दिशश्चक्षुर्भिः उल्बने.
Brahma told Rudra, O best among the demigods, there is no need for you to generate living entities of this nature. They have begun to devastate everything on all sides with the fiery flames from their eyes, and they have even attacked me.
Text 18. तप अतिष्ठा भद्रं ते सर्वभूतासुखवहं तपस्यैव यथा पूर्वं सृष्टा विश्वम् इदं भवान्.
My dear son, you had better situate yourself in penance, which is auspicious for all living entities, and which will bring all benediction upon you. By penance only shall you be able to create the universe as it was before.
Text 19. तपस्यैव परं ज्योतिर्भगवन्तं मधोक्षजं सर्वभूतागुहावशम् अंजसा विन्दते पुमान्.
By penance only can one even approach the personality of Godhead, who is within the heart of every living entity, and at the same time beyond the reach of all senses.
Text 20. मैत्रेय उवाच एवमात्मा भुवदिष्टा परिक्रम्य गिरं पतिं बद्धमित्यम्युम् अमन्त्रया विवेश तपसेवनम्.
Sri Maitreya said, Thus Rudra, having been ordered by Brahma, circumambulated his father, the master of the Vedas. Addressing him with words of assent, he entered the forest to perform austere penances.
Text 21. अथाभिध्ययाता सर्गं दशपुत्रा प्रजङ्गिरे भगवच्छक्तियुक्तस्य लोकसन्तानहेतवा.
Brahma, who was empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thought of generating living entities and begot 10 sons for the extension of the generations.
Text 22. मरीचिरथामरुतो त्रे अङ्गिरासौ पुलस्त्या पुलः क्रतु भृगुर्वसिष्ठो दक्षश्च दशमस्तत्र नारदा.
Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, Bhrugu, Vashishta, Daksha, and the 10th son Narada were thus born.
Text 23. उत्सङ्गान्नारदो यज्ञे दक्षोऽङ्गुष्ठात् स्वयंभुवः प्राणद्वसिष्ठा सञ्जातो भृगुस्त्वचीकरत्क्रतुः.
Narada was born from the deliberation of Brahma, which is the best part of the body. Vashishta was born from his breathing, Daksha from a thumb, Bhrugu from his touch, and Kratu from his hand.
Text 24. पुलाहो नाभितो यज्ञे पुलस्त्याकारण्यो ऋषि अङ्गीरा मुखतो शनोत्रेर्मरीचिर्मनसो भवत्.
Pulastya was generated from the ears, Angira from the mouth, Atri from the eyes, Marichi from mind, and Pulaha from the navel of Brahma.
Text 25. धर्मास्तनाद्दक्षिणातो यत्र नारायण स्वयं अधर्मा पृष्ठतो यस्मान् मृत्योर्लोकभयङ्करः.
Religion was manifested from the breast of Brahma, wherein is seated the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, and irreligion appeared from his back, where horrible death takes place for the living entity.
Text 26. हृदि कामो भ्रुव क्रोधो लोभश्चाधरादच्छदात् अस्यद्वाक् सिन्धवो मेद्रान् नृतिपायोरघश्रया.
Lust and desire become manifested from the heart of Brahma, anger from between his eyebrows, greed from between his lips, the power of speaking from his mouth, the ocean from his penis, and low and abominable activities from his anus, the source of all sins.
Text 27. छायाया कर्दमो याग्ने देवाहुत्यापति प्रभो मनसो देहतश्चेदं यज्ञे विश्वाकृतो जगत्.
Sage Kardama, husband of the great Devahuti, was manifested from the shadow of Brahma. Thus all became manifested from either the body or the mind of Brahma.
Text 28. वाचं दुहितरं तन्वीं स्वयंभूर्हरतिं मनः अकामं शकने शतः सकाम इति न श्रुतम्.
O Vidura, we have heard that Brahma had a daughter named Uvak, who was born from his body and who attracted his mind towards sex, although she was not sexually inclined towards him. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Sakshi Mataji and Rupa Mataji, for the beautiful recitations. Thank you. Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you.
everyone. I'm Sriji Kishori Devidasi, and please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So I've received a phone call from Prayagraj Prabhuji, who is on his way home. He'll join us shortly. In the meantime, I'll recite the Mangalacharan prayer and we'll do some recitations while waiting for Prabhuji to join us. So let's put our hands together. Let's pray very sincerely. You can all join me behind muted mics. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gora Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So dear devotees, we'll start our recitations now. Jyoti Mataji, would you mind sharing the verses, today's verses, please? 15 to 28, sorry, 21 to 25, please. Thank you. And the purports as well, please, if you don't mind. Yeah, thank you. It's already there, I can see. Lovely. Thank you so much, Jyoti Mataji. Any volunteers who would like to read the Sanskrit and the English, please? And then we'll get another devotee to read the purport. Any volunteers? Gayatri Mataji or anyone, please, would you like? Or Shama Mataji, yes, please, go ahead. Thank you. Unmute yourself, please, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna everyone. अथाभिध्यायतः सर्गं दशपुत्रा प्रजगिरे भगवच्छ शक्तियुक्तस्य लोकसन्तानहेतवः. Can you please scroll up? Thank you. Brahma, who was empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thought of generating living entities and begot 10 sons for the extension of the generations. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Shama Mataji. Thank you. Who would like to read the next text 22, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I?
Yes, please, go ahead. Thank you.
Verse 22. Marichir atri angirasau pulatsya pulaha kratau Rigur vasisto dakshascha dasa mastatra narada. Translation. Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, Rigu, Vasishtha, Daksha, and the 10th son Narada were thus born. Purport. The whole process of the creation, maintenance and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation is meant to give the conditioned souls a chance to go back home, back to Godhead. Brahma created Rudra to help him in his creative endeavor. But from the very beginning, Rudra began to devour the whole creation, and thus he had to be stopped from such devastating activities. Brahma therefore created another set of good children who were mostly in favor of worldly fruitive activities. He knew very well, however, that without devotional service to the Lord, there is hardly any benefit for the conditioned souls, and therefore he at last created his worthy son Narada, who is the supreme spiritual master of all transcendentalists. Without devotional service to the Lord, one cannot make progress in any department of activity. Although the path of devotional service is always independent to anything material, only the transcendental loving service of the Lord can deliver the real goal of life, and thus the service rendered by Sriman Narada Muni is the highest among all the sons of Brahma. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Madhavi Mataji. So nicely recited. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Anyone else would like to read text
Hare,
23, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Can I read Mataji?
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, Mataji. Utsangan narado jigne daksho anu angushtatat swayambhuvaha pranadvasishta sanjnato bhrugustvachi kratuhu. Hare Krishna Mataji. Translation. Narada was born from the deliberation of Brahma, which is the best part of the body. Vasishta was born from his breathing, Daksha from a thumb, Bhrigu from his touch, and Kratu from his hand. Purport. Narada was sorry. Narada was born from the best deliberation of Brahma because Narada was able to deliver the Supreme Lord to anyone he liked. The Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be realized by any amount of Vedic knowledge or by any number of penances. But a pure devotee of the Lord like Narada can deliver the Supreme Lord by his goodwill. The very name Narada suggests that he can deliver the Supreme Lord. Nara means the Supreme Lord, and the means one who can deliver. That he can deliver the Supreme Lord does not mean that the Lord is like a commodity that can be delivered to any person, but Narada can deliver to anyone the transcendental loving service of the Lord to a servitor, friend, parent, or lover, as one may desire out of one's own transcendental love for the Lord. In other words, it is Narada only who can deliver the path of Bhakti Yoga, the highest mystic means for attainment of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Gayatri Mataji. So nicely recited. Thank you. Text 24, anyone, please?
May I, Prabhu Mataji?
Yes, sure. Go ahead, please. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Pulahona bito yagnai, pulastyaka nayorishi, angira mukato Krishnostir, marichir manaso apavat. Thank you. Pulastya was generated from the ears, Angira from the mouth, Atri from the eyes, Marichi from the mind, and Pulaha from the navel of Brahma. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Saroj Mataji. So nicely recited. And text 25 now. Any volunteers, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji, may I read, please?
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you.
Text 25. Dharmastana dakshinato yatra narayana swayam adharma prishthato yasman mrityu loka bhayankaraha. Translation. Religion was manifested from the breast of Brahma, wherein is seated the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, and irreligion appeared from his back, where horrible death takes place for the living entity. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. That religion was manifested from the place where the personality of Godhead is personally situated is very significant, because religion means devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita as well as the Bhagavatam. In the Bhagavad Gita, the last instruction is to give up all other engagements in the name of religion and take shelter of the Personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam also confirms that the highest perfection of religion is that which leads to the devotional service of the Lord, unmotivated and unhampered by material impediments. Religion in its perfect form is the devotional service of the Lord, and irreligion is just the opposite. The heart is the most important part of the body, whereas the back is the most neglected part. When one is attacked by an enemy, one is apt to endure attacks from the back and protect himself carefully from all attacks on the chest. All types of irreligion spring from the back of Brahma, whereas real religion, the devotional service of the Lord, is generated from the chest, the seat of Narayana. Anything which does not lead to the devotional service of the Lord is irreligion, and anything which leads to the devotional service of the Lord is called religion. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very nicely recited. So these are the verses for discussion today, but Prabhuji hasn't joined us as yet, so we'll give him a bit more time. In the meantime, I've been asked to share Canto 4 and to read the Rudra Gita, the pastimes of Rudra. So I wonder if Jyoti Mataji would be kind enough to share Canto 4 on the screen, please, so that we can read Canto 4.
Canto 4, Hare Krishna Mataji, Canto 4, what chapter?
He says it's the Rudra Gita, the pastimes of Lord Rudra.
Not,
Pastimes of Lord Rudra.
okay, is it here? Pastime,
I'm just trying to look at the contents.
praise, instructions. No, Mataji, it's not here unless I Google it.
Okay, we can perhaps read the first chapter. Let's see what the first chapter is all about.
Canto 4.
Or anywhere where you see Lord Rudra. That's what we should be reading about, Lord Rudra. Let's go back to the contents again of the chapters.
Yeah.
For the Rudra pastimes you mentioned earlier on.
Okay. No, that's fine.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So we will start now.
We have finished reading the verses for discussion today. That
Oh,
is
great.
21 to 25. We've just finished. Thank you.
Great. So, Jyoti Mataji, can I share my screen?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yes, you can.
Krishna Mataji. I guess all can see the screen now.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. So we will start. Sincere apologies. I got stuck in some other work, so that's why I'm late. We'll start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी यं प्राव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातरः पुत्रेति तन्मयतयो तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि. So today we are going to read verse number 21 to 25 from the 12th chapter of the third canto. So let's start. Athavidya yatah sargam dashaputraha prajadnire bhagavatcha yakti yuktasya lokasantana hetavaha. Translation. Brahma, who was empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thought of generating living entities and begot 10 sons for the extension of the generations. Verse number 22. Marichityang girasau ulastyaha pulaha kratuhu bhragur vashishtho dakshascha dashamastattra naradaha. Translation. Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, Bhrigu, Vasishtha, Daksha, and the 10th son, Narada, were thus born, purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The whole process of the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation is meant to give the conditioned soul a chance to go back home, back to Godhead. Brahma created Rudra to help him in his creative endeavor. But from the very beginning, Rudra began to devour the whole creation, and thus he had to be stopped from such devastating activities. Brahma therefore created another set of good children who were mostly in favor of worldly, fruitive activities. He knew very well, however, that without devotional service to the Lord, there is hardly any benefit for the conditioned souls, and therefore he at last created his worthy son Narada, who is the supreme spiritual master of all transcendentalists. Without devotional service to the Lord, one cannot make progress in any department of activity, although the path of devotional service is always independent of anything material. Only the transcendental loving service of the Lord can deliver the real goal of life, and thus the service rendered by Sriman Narad Muni is the highest among the sons of Brahma. There is an interesting point here, but we will come back to that. If I forget, please remind me about the last statement. Verse number 23. Utsanga narado yajne dakshonga gushtat swayam bhruvaha pranad vasishtha sanjato brugustvachikara kratuhu. Translation. Narad was born from the deliberation of Brahma, which is the best part of the body. Vasishtha was born from his breathing, Daksha from thumb, Bhrigu from his touch, and Kritu from his hand. Purport. Narad was born from the best deliberation of Brahma because Narad was able to deliver the Supreme Lord to anyone he liked. The Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be realized by any amount of Vedic knowledge or by any number of penances. But a pure devotee of the Lord, like Narad, can deliver the Supreme Lord by his goodwill. The very name Narad suggests that he can deliver the Supreme Lord. Nara means the Supreme Lord, and the means one who can deliver. That he can deliver the Supreme Lord does not mean that Lord is like a commodity that can be delivered to any person, but Narad can deliver anyone the transcendental loving service of the Lord as a servitor, friend, parent, or lover, or one may desire out of one's own transcendental love for the Lord. In other words, it is Narad only, who can deliver the path of Bhakti Yoga, the highest mystic means of attainment of the Supreme Lord. So there is a question here. What is the famous scripture Sripad Narad Muni has delivered to human being in the path of Bhakti Yoga? There are a lot of references of that scripture. Can anyone tell me?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Is
Krishna.
it Hare Krishna? My humble obeisance unto you. All glories to
Right.
Srila Prabhupada. Is Narad the Pancharatra? Is it?
That is the process. It's like you have gone to the second part of that. You know, Yajurved, Rigved, what's the difference? Rigved is the one which talks about the glories of the Lord, which talks about the, what you call, the description of the Lord. And then once you know the Lord, once you develop the attraction, then the process comes, right? Yajna. And what is that Ved? What is that second part of the Ved? Can you tell me, Rupa Mataji?
Second part of which
First is first is Rigved. The second one is Yajurved. Yajurved.
Yajurved,
So
Samaved, and then
no, not Samaved. Samaved is for the musical aspects of the Veda, how the pronunciation and what the intonations and chanda, different types of chanda. That is Samaved. And then Atharvaved is actually the composition of the verses, the grammatics behind it. So yes, Indulekha Mataji, you have your hand raised.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Is
Krishna.
it the 11,000 sons of Daksha Prajapati?
You mean, are you answering the question what I asked earlier?
Yes.
It is Narad Bhakti Sutra, Mataji, the name of the scripture, what Narad Muni has delivered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Sure.
then Narad Pancharatra is the process. So that's why I was referring to Rupa Mataji's answer, that Narad Bhakti Sutra and Narad Pancharatra. Pancharatri ki vidhi is the one what we follow in our temples, as Srila Prabhupada's explanation. There are two ways of worshipping the Lord: the deity worship or overall the pattern of worship. One is the Vedic worship, and second is Pancharatriki Vidhi. And we in ISKCON, we follow Pancharatriki Vidhi because as per the Kalisantaran Upanishad and many other Shukla Upanishad especially, in Kali Yuga, the right type of process to follow for deity worship or any worship aspect is Pancharatri Vidhi and not the Vedic Vidhi, because we are not qualified enough. Our pronunciations are not clear, our standard of cleanliness is not clear, our mudras are not that good. There are so many reasons behind it. So it's like if you read Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions to 6 Goswamis and including Prabodhananda Saraswati and all, so that's where we get the idea what is the instruction of the Supreme Lord to worship Him in what mood, and that's why we follow Pancharatri Vidhi. Sorry, it's a bit of a diversion. I'm getting distracted a bit too much, so apologies for that. Let's go to the next verse. And then we'll come back to our, yeah. Pulaho nabhito jadne pulastyaha karanayo rushir hi anga gira mukhato shonotri marichir manaso bhavat Pulastya was generated from the ears, Angira from the mouth, Atri from the eyes, Marichi from the mind, and Pulaha from the navel of Brahma. Now, we don't have a purport for this. I don't think we will have enough time to discuss every details of it. But this is very fascinating. Pulastya, Angira, Atri, Marichi, they're all very exalted personalities. They're from the Rishi Lok, from the Satya Lok and all that. So they can travel between Satyalok and Maharlok, Satyalok, and the topmost planets, Brahmalok, Satyalok, Maharlok, Janalok, and all that. And you can see here that we get an understanding, or we understand from the Vedic literature, that demigods are the one who are the controllers of different material elements. But actually, if we see from this verse here, the demigods are advised and they get the power through these rishis. So Brahma actually empowers these rishis so that they will distribute that power of controlling different material aspects through this Saptarishi, or these great personalities. And it is all related to Pancha Mahabhuta, Prithvi, Aap, Tej, Vayu, Akash, earth, fire, water, air, ether. And the Lord Brahma's pronunciations through which all these rishis were created, or they were generated. You can relate now all the Pancha Mahabhuta to these rishis and how that functions. You can read that literature, you can do your own research, because I will get diverted a bit too much. Let's go to the last verse. Dharmahastanat Dakshino Dakshinato Yatra Narayana Swayam Adharma Prishtato Yanma Mrityurloka Bhayankaraha. Religion was manifested from the breast of Brahma, wherein is seated the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan, and irreligion appeared from his back, where horrible death takes place for the living entity. This is something amazing to meditate on. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. That religion was manifested from the place where the personality of Godhead is personally situated is very significant, because religion means devotional service to the personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita as well as Bhagavatam. So, religion means devotional service to the personality of Godhead. What verse comes to our mind? It's actually this verse where Lord says that, okay, abandon all varieties of religion. That is the very obvious clue now to what verse we're referring to. Anyone?
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं
Aham
त्वां
tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. So how is that related to that personally situated in very the religion was manifested from the place where the personality of Godhead is personally situated is very significant, because religion means devotional service to the personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita as well as Bhagavatam. So, initial aspects of what is religion, how to live the life of devotional service. But later on, when Lord says, abandon all varieties of religion, that means what? The differences in the religion, abandon at the base principle is Sharanagati. Mam ekam Sharanam Vraja. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is referring to here. In Bhagavad Gita, the last instruction is to give up all other engagement in the name of religion, Sarvadharman Parityajya, and take shelter of the personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam also confirms that the highest perfection of religion is that which leads to devotional service of the Lord, unmotivated and unhampered by material impediments. Religion in its perfect form is the devotional service to the Lord. the another interesting, very obvious verse where what confirms this is Ete Chausa Kalapumsa Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Yada Amrudayanti Yuge. So, which establishes that everything comes back to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And obviously, the 12th canto's 13th chapter, the first verse, Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutash, that is also related to this particular statement. We can relate to. The reason we are going through different verses and relating to this is because that is the whole reason of the scriptures, that we should be meditating on these verses, which are reminding us of the devotion service, reminding us of our, they're pressing us for us to remind ourselves of the surrender. So let's complete this purport and then we'll go back to our discussion. Religion in its perfect form is the devotion service of the Lord, and irreligion is just the opposite. The heart is the most important part of the body, whereas the back is the most neglected part. When one is attacked by an enemy, one is apt to endure attacks from the back and protect himself carefully from the attacks on the chest. All types of irreligion spring from the back of Brahma, whereas real religion, the devotional service of the Lord, is generated from the chest, the seat of Narayan. Anything which does not lead to the devotional service of the Lord is irreligion, and anything which leads to the devotional service of the Lord is called religion. So let's start with our verse number 21. So let's do our Mangala Charana and then we'll have our discussion. Om Ajnantimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadameyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakammalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sa Advaitam Sa Avadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जानलंबित भुजौ कनकावधातौ संकीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्भरौ द्विजभरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणा अवतारो यन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसूक्तां सञ्जीवयत्य अखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणाश्रवणात्पगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्. So earlier, I think in last two sessions, Shamhari Prabhu and Madan Prabhu have gone through the glories of Lord Shiva. If we read just the word by word details of what Lord Shiva, and he created all the beings and then they started devouring and all that. And if there is not proper explanation given, it can give a bit of a wrong impression of the great personality Lord Shiva. So I was thinking to go through some very important points related to Lord Shiva's glories. So this, there are 3 verses from Brahma Samhita. We will read that, and then we will go to we will have some understanding of how great Lord Shiva is and who is Lord Shiva. He is actually indirectly Krishna himself. So, can anyone volunteer to read the translation? Oh, Sakshi Mataji is here. Sakshi Mataji, would you like to read the translation?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Lowest of all is located Devi Dharma,
Dham.
mundane world. Next above it is Mahesha Dhamma, abode of Mahesha. Above Mahesha Dhamma is placed Hari Dham, abode of Hari. And above them all is located Krishna's own realm named Golaka. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda who has allotted their respective authorities to the rulers of those graded realms.
Yes.
Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Thank you. You have 2 more translations to read. So, yes, I will come back to you. So, in the purport, it's a small purport, and that talks about the actual structure of the of this beyond material world, what the structure of the whole creation is. So the realm of Goloka stands highest above all others. So in Vaikunthlok, that the highest of the planets is the Golok Vrindavan. Brahma, looking up to the higher position of Goloka, is speaking of the other realms from the point of view of his own realm, Brahmalok, his own realms. The first in order is this mundane world called Devi Dhama, consisting of the 14 worlds. So 7 above and 7 down. So that's what the 14 worlds are referred here, namely Satyalok, etc. Next above the Devi Dham is located Shiva Dham, which is also called Mahesh Dham. One portion of which is called Mahakala Dham, is enveloped in darkness. This is a very, very amazing insight of how this whole structure is, of this. And our temple in Mayapur, Temple of Vedic Planetarium, we will have this exhibited there. So Mahakala Dham is enveloped in darkness. Interpenetrating this portion of Shiva Dham, there shines the Sadashiva Loka. So what does this tell us? Sadashiva Loka. Sadashiva is who? Lord, the first expansion of the Lord Krishna. And from Shankarshan, his expansion to have a touch with the material world is Shankar, from Shankarshan, Sadashiva Loka, full of great light. Above the same appears Haridham, or the transcendental Vaikuntha. The potency of Devi Dham in the form of extension of Maya, and the Shiva Loka consisting of time, space, and matter, are the potency of the separated particles pervaded by the penumbral reflection of the subjective portion of divinity. But Haridham is ever resplendent with transcendental majesty, and the great splendor of all sweetness predominates over all the majesties of Goloka. The Supreme Lord Govinda, by his own direct and indirect power, has constituted those respective potencies of those realms. So if we go to the next verse, it gives bit more insight of this. So 44th verse. Yes, Sakshi Mataji, your turn now.
Hare Krishna. The external potency Maya, who is the nature of the shadow of the
Chit
potency, is worshipped by all people as Durga, the creating, preserving, and destroying agency of this mundane world. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda in accordance with those who will Durga conducts herself. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hare
Thank you. So this gives the power of the Shakti of Lord Shiva. If you read it's a bit long purport. I would suggest to read the purport in your own time. But who is Durga Devi and what is the position of Jiva and what her duty is, what is as the Mahamaya. In a Leela Tattva, she's none other than the sister of the Lord, both Yogamaya and Mahamaya. But that's where all the details of our relationship with Durga Devi. She is an expansion of, if in the potency terms, internal, marginal, and external. He's none other than expansion of Radharani herself. So in the scriptural perspective, obviously, if you go to different sampradaya, they will say she is an expansion of Lakshmi Devi, which is also right. But that is in terms of the formation or the creation of this world. In the perspective of Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the expansion of every single potency is actually the expansion of Radharani. So that's the one. And this is the verse 45th. Yeah, that's the verse which talks about the power of Lord Shiva. We are going to go through the purport as well. I'm not sure if we get enough time to go through today's verses, but I think this is very important for our meditation. So, Sakshinataji, could you please continue?
Hare Krishna. Just as milk is transformed into curd by the action of acids, but yet the effect curd is neither same as nor different from, is cause with milk is so. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, of whom the state of Sambhu is a transformation for the performance of the work of destruction.
Great.
Thank you.
You're going to read the purport as well, but before that, what this translation is telling us is Lord Govind, the Lord Krishna himself, has transformed as Shambhu, Vaishnavanam Tatha Shambhu. So, as the Bhakti avatar of the Lord is who? The Channa avatar is who? Anyone? Who is the Bhakti avatar of the Lord? That's what our Sampradaya is. Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, the transformation of Lord's mood to handle the situations or the destruction and everything, right from creation, maintenance, and destruction. Shambhu, Lord Shiva is always there. His main primary responsibility is to use the mode of ignorance to destroy this or annihilation in this material world, but he is always there in all the three processes, because that requirement of his form as Lord Shiva, Krishna's form as Lord Shiva, is always there. So in Leela Tattva, if you see, Parvati Devi is also in her manifestation as Krishna's wife is there. Do you know who she is? One of the Krishna's 8 principal or queens is actually the expansion of Parvati Devi. Can anyone shed some light on that? No? Okay. That is Jambavati. Her son is Samba. And who is Samba? He is Kartikeyan. So, if you read the later 10th, especially the 11th canto, that's where Prabhupada and even Shukdev Goswami explains about, I think 10th canto onwards, the details you will get. So we will not discuss that now. It's yeah, it's not that long, but I think it's worth reading this purport for our own purification, for our own meditation. So yes, Sakshi Mataji, you can.
Thank you, Prabhuji. The real nature of Shambhu, the presiding deity of Maheshadha, is described. Shambhu is not a second godhead other than Krishna. Those who entertain such discriminating sentiment commit a great offense against the Supreme Lord. The supremacy of Shambhu is subsequent to that of Govinda. Hence, they are not really different from each other. The non distinction is established by the fact that just as milk treated with acid turns into curd, so Godhead becomes a subservient when he himself attains a distinct personality by the addition of a particular element of adulteration. This personality has no independent initiative. The said adulterating principle is constituted of a combination of the stupefying quality of the deluding energy, the quality of non-plenitude of the marginal potency, and a slight degree of the aesthetic cognitive principle of the plenary spiritual potency. This specifically this specifically adulterated reflection of the principle of the subjective portion of the divinity is Sadashiv. In the form of the effulgent masculine symbol, God Shambhu, from whom Rudra Deva is manifested. In the work of mundane creation as the material cause, in the work of preservation by the destruction of sundry asuras, and in the work of destruction to conduct the whole operation, Govinda manifests himself as Guna Avatar in the form of Shambhu, who is the separated portion of Govinda, imbued with the principle of his subjective plenary portion. The personality of the destructive principle in the form of time has been identified with that of Shambhu by scriptural evidences that have been adduced in the commentary. The purport of the Bhagavata shlokas, Vaishwanam Yatha Shambhu, etc.,
Vaishnavanam Pitha Shambhu. Yeah.
is that Shambhu is the persons of the will of Govinda, works in union with his consort Durga Devi by his own time energy. He teaches pious duties dharma as stepping stones to the attainment of spiritual service in the various Tantra Sutras, etc., suitable for jivas in different grades of conditional existence. In obedience to the will of Govinda, Shambhu maintains and fosters the religion of pure devotion by preaching the cult of illusionism, Mayavada, and the speculative Agama Shastra.
Agama Shastras, yeah.
The 50 attributes of individual souls are manifest in a far vaster measure in Shambhu, and 5 additional attributes not attainable by jivas are also partly found in him. So Shambhu cannot be called a jiva. He is the lord of jiva, but yet partakes of the nature of a separated portion of Govinda.
Great. Thank you very
Prabhuji.
much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you can see the grand, the magnanimity, the greatness of Lord Shiva here. Why he is so amazing? Because Lord Krishna himself wants to taste that devotional service, and at the same time in a different mood, but also takes the heaviest, the toughest responsibility of handling the jivatmas of different conditioned nature. What type of responsibility? For example, in the Samudra Manthan, when halahal came out, the horrible poison, only Lord Shiva could take that poison, keep it at his throat. Otherwise, the whole destruction would have happened. So he saves the living entities. He's the most merciful. He's most loving. He's incredibly beautiful, very, very powerful as well. And that is why if you see the if you read the description of how the personality of Lord Shiva is and how wonderful his devotional qualities are, um, how he gets easily pleased, and because he's the most beloved devotee of the Lord at the same time, whenever he gives benediction, Lord has to oblige. That much of love he has for the Lord, and Lord has love for him. And there are innumerable pastimes. I think we don't have enough time right now. We'll go to that little later. So that's what this is about the Lord Shiva, because we have been discussing about him, and this is the Tattva. Brahma created Rudra because, as we see that Krishna descends himself as a son of Vasudeva and Devaki, as a son of Nanda Maharaj and Yashodamani. In the same way, Rudra or Krishna in the form of Rudra descends himself in this process of creation. So, because of the earlier verses, if we don't read Lord Brahma's description of who Lord Shiva is, we may get a bit of a bewilderment. That's why I thought of reading this purport and the Lord Brahma's statement himself in Brahma Samhita. Is everyone okay with that? Are there any comments or questions? No comments, no questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji.
So, you said that Lord Shiva is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but
no, I didn't say that. I think that's
okay.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants
to so
enjoy the nectar of devotion. He is Lord himself, but in a different mood.
Yeah.
In the same manner,
because
Lord Shiva is a manifestation of the Supreme Lord himself, but with different mood of devotion and with different responsibilities in the material world. They're not the same. Definitely, that was not what I meant.
Because Advaita Acharya is Sadasiv. He came as Advaita Acharya, Sadasiv, and Mahavishnu. They came together in one. And also, speaking about Lord Shiva, we see in Canto 3, chapter 26, right? So it's talking about the Pradhan, about Prakriti, about how it manifested. So it says like when Mahavishnu opened his eyes and glanced at material nature, that glance, when he opens up that glance, turned into Lord Shiva, because material energy is Durga Devi, and Lord Vishnu cannot impregnate her, as she is a consort of Lord Shiva. So by the glance, consciousness also was created, and then the Prakriti started. So Lord Shiva is there. This is his position. He is like, we can say, on the same level, but then he acts like below that level. He takes in charge of all these living entities who nobody wants to approach, like the ghosts, the hobgoblins, the bhuta pitachas, and all. So he is so compassionate that he has taken this position to elevate those souls. That is his position. He's great, Prabhuji. Thank you.
That's what this purport was, Mataji. You just summarized the purport again. Thank you for that. This purport gives us the same insight of what Lord Shiva is, who he is, and his divinity. Everything is there. Of course, this is not the only thing. In Bhagavatam, we will come across the glories of Lord Shiva later as well, especially when Prachetas meet Lord Shiva, and how amazing Lord Shiva is. Srila Prabhupada time and again says that we should approach Lord Shiva because he is very merciful. And I think earlier in one of our discussions, I have told that one of our prominent acharyas, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in Jagannath Puri, when he was sitting in front of Lord Shiva's temple, he was overwhelmed with the emotions and the mercy and the compassion of Lord Shiva. And he wanted to extend his prayers. And that's where the famous prayer came from his heart. And what is that prayer? What is that song from Sharanagati? Does anyone know? Ohe Vaishnava Thakura Doyara Sagora. That is the song which is actually addressed for Lord Shiva. Such a amazing composition it is. Every day we can meditate on that. So that's what it is. Okay, let's go back to our today's discussion. So this is what about Lord Shiva. One cannot take progress in department of activity, although path of devotional service is always independent. But we need the mercy of Shambhu. And we need to understand the principle of who Lord Shiva is. Now, this is the one where Shripad Narad Muni, how wonderful, how great Shripad Narad Muni is. I think this is, take it here. Yeah. So, he's a, now again, there will be obvious question that if Narad Muni is son of Lord Brahma, and Narad Muni is always there, right, from the creation of this material world, then what about the story we read in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that he was a son of the maidservant and that his mother was bitten by a snake and then he served the great Vaishnavas and that's how he saw the Lord. That story everyone knows. So how to solve this puzzle? Can anyone shed some light on that? Because this is a glorification of Narad Muni. How great, such a phenomenal person.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Narad Muni, before becoming the son of a maid servant, he was a Gandharva, right? And he was glorifying the Lord, and then at some point he got deviated. He started glorifying the women around him. That's why he fell. That's why he became the son of a maid servant. But talking about him appearing from Lord Brahma, if we see from Lord Brahma, even Varahadeva appeared from his nose. So what to talk about Narad Muni?
No, the creation, what you said is later part, Mataji. The creation is the beginning of the creation of the material universe. And that time Lord Brahma started creating. So we are talking about the Sarga part. What you said, what is told in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is more towards the Visarga part. So how to understand this?
You explain, Prabhuji, because I don't know.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's fine, no problem. So if you read Srila Prabhupada's discussions with his room discussions, some of his and many of his lectures, what Srila Prabhupada tells about Narad Muni is he is a Shaktavesh avatar. And there are two types of Shaktavesh avatar. Especially, he explains that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita purports. So one is empowered entity in the material world itself, and second is the personality who comes from the spiritual world for the specific purpose. Narad Muni is the personality who comes from the spiritual world in the material world to perform certain leelas. So what I was referring to, the Visarga part, is Narad Muni performing, he's becoming the son of the maidservant and then serving the Vaishnavas and becoming Narad Muni. That is the Visarga part. That is for us to understand that anyone any Jivatma or any one of us, we need not have to be qualified. And there are many examples in Srimad Bhagavatam that Kripa Siddhi is the base principle behind here. And that's what Narad Muni is playing his part. Very important point for all of us to remember here, that creation in the material world, Narad Muni is always there. He is the spiritual master of the entire universe, son of Lord Brahma, because in the beginning of the creation, Narad Muni is there. But later on, Narad Muni plays a part in the Leela of the Lord, in the creation, in the Visarga Leela of the Lord, that he becomes the son of the maidservant, he serves those rishis or the devotees, the Vaishnavas, and then next life he comes as an Narad Muni. So what's the lesson for here for all of us to learn is the Kripa Siddhi. If Vaishnavas, they bestow their mercy upon us, then yes, we can get the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And that is another Leela where Shripad Narad Muni bestows his mercy, and when he gives his word, Lord has to oblige. What is that? Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj performed his austerities because Narad Muni said, and Narad Muni said that yes, if you perform the austerities with full intention, full attention, Lord will be pleased and he will bestow his mercy upon you. Because of Narad Muni's words, Lord bestowed his mercy on Dhruva Maharaj, and he became such a powerful personality. So again, Dhruva Maharaj is also Kripa Siddha. Third example of Narad Muni is the Valmiki Rishi, Ratnakar becoming Valmiki Rishi. Another example of Kripa Siddha is the mercy of Prahlad Maharaj on Bali Maharaj. So these are all the examples for all of us to have a hope against hope. That we should never think that on my own endeavors, Lord will be merciful and I will come to the platform of the Parama Vaishnava. That's not the point. So that's the reason this example is very important for all of us. So in other words, it is Narad only who can deliver the path of Bhakti Yoga, the highest mystic means for attainment of the Supreme Lord. What is the verse in the Bhagavad Gita about this mystic means? What Lord says about Bhakti Yoga, 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram iha vidyate tatsvayam yoga samsiddha kalena atmani vindati. What Krishna says there is, this is the supreme of all the knowledge and the supreme of all the mystic knowledges. I am giving it to you, O Arjuna. Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram iha vidyate. There is nothing more divine, no more supreme than this. And what is that knowledge? Bhakti Yoga. And who gives that? Narad Muni. We all are part of that lineage. Lord Brahma, Narad Muni, Vyasadeva, and then the Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So this is what the 24th verse, I don't think there is a purport here, but we talked about it briefly. And then that religion was manifested. So this is about the religion as a, actually, if we see religion, English word, and dharma, that's not the exact translation. That is a kind of compromised translation of saying dharma means religion, which is, religion is more of a procedural aspect explained in English. If we read the different dictionary meanings of religion, it doesn't actually give us the understanding of what dharma is. Dharma means it's the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, what is dharma? Jivera Swarupa Krishnera Nityadas. We are all eternally servants of the Lord. Religion, it gives very vague term about how to live a life in the material world and what are the processes we should follow. So it gives very vague term about what dharma means. So that's a bit of a what do you call? We need to get an understanding of what is the Sanskrit meaning of dharma is, and that's why. And then what do you call? Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja is the Lord is saying that different varieties of religion means all the processes. There is no difference. It's coming to that unity in diversity part, and that's what this verse is referring to. So, okay, it's already 9 o'clock. We'll stop here. Are there any questions or comments? No questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your wonderful class. When you said the Bhakti Vinod Thakur's bhajan, very helpful, because I always used to think when he's saying Vaishnava Thakur, who is he saying? He's referring to himself or all the Vaishnavas? Whom is he talking about? So I always had that question in my mind when he's saying. So when he said that it's he was feeling so compassionate because of Shiva is full of compassion. So he was meaning Lord Shiva's compassion, and he wrote the song. So that was very helpful. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you. Hare
You
Krishna.
can see here that when he is praying to the topmost Vaishnava, Lord Shiva himself, and he had that tears in his eyes when he was actually overwhelmed with the Lord Shiva's compassion and love and everything, his personality. Now, if you go back to the translation of that song, of that bhajan, of that composition, now you can relate to Lord Shiva's personality. Agree, Rupa Mataji?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I'll go
So
through that
wonderful.
song and I'll realize. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you so much for clarifying so many things. Also, you give us hope, because every morning we sing, not every morning, every time, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. So who is Srivas? Srivas is Narad Muni.
Yeah, that Srivas Pandit is Narad Muni, yes. Yes,
so yes, we are praying to Narad Muni every day. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Of course. He is our what do you call Parama Guru, the son of Lord Brahma. Is his mercy, and if you read his pastimes, Narad Muni accepts everyone as his disciple. He has snake as his disciple. He has Ratnakar as his disciple. He has exalted personalities as his disciple. He has small children as his disciple. And he accepts everyone. How merciful Narad Muni is. How amazing his pastimes are. Great. Thank you for reminding Indulekha Mataji.
Yeah, you said he has snake as a disciple. So he does not only give us, teach us how to become a Vaishnava. He gives us a solution also. The story of the snake. When he says the snake don't bite, he stopped biting. And then when people saw that he was not biting, they started beating him. So next time he saw the snake bleeding, he said, what happened? The snake said, you told me not to bite, so I stopped biting. So he said, I told you not to bite, but you can extend your fangs and scare them. So that's the solution also we have to do. Very nice. Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
And then another interesting story of Narad Muni is Lord Krishna as well as Lord Narayan. When you are an intimate servant or you're intimate devotee of the Lord, then the pastimes are also very, very intense. Narad Muni gets bewildered a lot of times because of in the pastimes of the Lord. I think it's taking too much of time. I will keep talking for another hour then. So thank you very much. We'll stop here. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavibhyo
Namo Namaha. Thank you, Prabhuji. Nice
Thank you,
class.
Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Excellent.
Prabhuji. Wonderful class. Thank you. Hare Krishna.